How you doing? I'm DJ Craig G with 102.1 The Edge's Insomniac Theater. If you've actually seen It's All Gone Pete Tong, it's a fantastic program. One of the funniest moments actually of the movie for me is when Pete Tong actually interviews DJ Frankie Wild, and he actually joins me right now on Insomniac Theater. Mr. Tong, how are you?
Yeah, good shape.
Good.
Back in Toronto.
One thing I noticed actually recently is you actually started out as a drummer. Do you still play?
Not really. Well, rat-a-tat-tat in the studio on like little pads, but not really. I mean, it was school kind of stuff, looking for a kind of direction. Wanted to be a guitarist or a pianist, but never had the patience. So banging out drums seemed to be more suitable. So, and it actually led me to DJing, so it was a good thing.
When did you first get the DJ bug?
Basically seeing a DJ for the first time at kind of a school concert, and just realising for all the effort we were putting into to actually being in a band. No disrespect to being in a band, but the DJ just came on and just seemed to kind of make the whole place work, because obviously the bands were crap, and it just appealed to me on every level. You know, playing other people's music, sequencing music, and just the way you can just grab everybody pretty quickly in the room and get their attention. So that was the way forward for me. Early days, you know, with like two turntables stuck together and just playing pop records really at the start. So yeah, I mean, it was I literally started doing weddings and stuff like that, and then I started doing kind of little colloquial kind of towns outside of London and villages really, all around, you know, where I went to school, and started doing kind of parties for students and things like that, and then eventually worked in bars, and one pretty successful residency in a club where there was a lot of clubbers that used to go up to London all the time, and then started running my own nights, again outside of London, but in some pretty cool venues where I really started to kind of forge my reputation. So always had to do them on like the quiet nights of the week, because they would never trust you with a Saturday or something. So I had a pretty successful party that ran for a couple of years on a Monday. Started working with other DJs at the time, and it just went from there. It was all about being as entrepreneurial as possible really back then, and just doing anything it took to kind of get your name about. But the core values was simply just run a great party and have, if your mates all enjoyed it, and then there's there's the circle outside them, and the circle outside them, and the circle outside them, and it gets bigger and bigger. So, and then someone starts knocking on your door because you're getting noticed, because you've got this crowd. So that's the way it started. It wasn't really about making music back then. We didn't have the facility.
Recently, you had started making music pretty recently, or had you been doing stuff back in the 90s?
No, I mean,
because I know you did production, but what about actually making?
I was running a record company. I was head of A&R on it, and I was also on the radio, and I was also a club DJ. So it became a point of like not having enough time to do anything else. Also, there were so many conflicts of interest, I think, between being in the studio, producing your own music, and then I'd have to be the person to break it. So it didn't really work at that time. It was only really when I kind of left the record company around 2000 that I had the space in my life to actually start thinking about making music. I mean, I think I was such a hands-on A&R guy that there was a very fine line between producing and or just telling other people what to do. So I felt quite confident in doing it, and obviously then all the technology kind of in the last few years has kind of made that process easier. So I kind of taught myself Logic and Ableton, and I bounce off different people, and it's, you know, I enjoy it. There's no real agenda when I started other than to make records that I could play for myself. So or to film is what I really wanted to do. So